Bronze Series, Week 4, coming out of the All-Star break. I am here with our good buddy Wired. How are you doing, pal?
Not too bad, AY. How you doing?
I am doing wonderful. So, good to have everyone back and some racing back. A week to breathe. I think we all needed it.
Oh, I agree. Things were getting a little antsy in the PRA world, to say the least.
Yeah, tough tracks, tough tension, the competition getting real fierce. Today, the second track might be a little tight and tedious, but I think the first track we've got here is pretty fun. Hilltop, do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so Hilltop's a pretty large open oval. We're going to be running 30 laps here, and you'll find after about 10 or so laps with these guys, things will start to kind of go single file for a little bit, and it really takes driver error to make any real passes here.
Yeah. Um, so just kind of to catch everybody up, our Open Series drivers coming up this week are actually not the two who won the races. I'll give a quick shout out to them, though neither of them can make the bronze races tonight. The winner at Hilltop Stadium was CTS Dimes. He will be in bronze starting next week, as well as the winner of Vale Falls, our second track tonight. Slick won very convincingly. However, neither of those guys can make it today, so instead, for tonight's races, we have Oscar and Oldstock coming up.
Yeah, so Oscar and Oldstock both finished pretty well in the Open Series. Oscar finished second and fourth, and Oldstock was third and fifth in their respective races. So, they were the best average out of the guys who didn't win, so we decided to pull them up just to fill in the lobby a little bit and give them a chance to race up here in bronze.
That is right. So, since they didn't win here, I'll go ahead and let you know that Oldstock in the Open Series, he finished third here at Hilltop, and Oscar finished fourth. So definitely still not bad performances at all. I'd hope to see them perform well with the opportunity they've got tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're just watching the 10-lap lap time qualifier, as we always do here in PRA. So this is really not a whole lot of racing. This is going to be a lot of guys spread out and trying to go as fast as they can.
So currently holding the provisional pole, though only after one lap, is D's Kurds. I'm going to point him out, as well as D-Highs. Both of them are currently tied for the championship lead in bronze at 76 points after week 3.
Yes, it's a nice tight points battle for this bronze series. I mean, when you're going into week number 4 with two guys tied for the championship, it's going to make for an exciting last 2 weeks.
That is right, though they're not completely home free either, as McNasty and Leitzman are close behind, I believe 6 and 7 points back each. So all 4 of those guys, and even the other guys behind them, have a lot still to race for with these 2 weeks left. And these 2 races tonight are going to make a big difference in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, starting in the front on this race is going to be crucial. So D's Kurds is coming out here doing what he needs to do, and running at 20.4. That's a very impressive time here.
That's right, as we have D-Highs joining him up there as well, so he's not going to make this an easy battle at all. Blood and Tears up there. Who do you have your eyes on for this race?
I mean, obviously D's Kurds is proving that he's very fast here, so, and I know he's ran, I believe, a 20.3 here in practice, so this, whatever he's done here, he's figured out this track, and, I think he's going to take it from start to finish.
I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I think also my pick for this race is the guy who's currently holding second, Blood and Tears. I think he can definitely work his way up there and make these Kurds a little uncomfortable.
Man, I'd love to see Blood take home a win. He's a guy that I love racing with outside of these PRA races, and he's just a really solid dude. And I wouldn't mind seeing him pull his car through victory lane tonight.
For sure. Right now, as we're
But
getting to, as I said, for sure, as we're getting to the end of the qualifying. Um, 2 laps left to go. Well, I believe 1 lap for these cards now. I'm gonna hop on board with him and see where he's at.
yeah, and I will say D's Kurtz has consistently ran a 20.4. I think there was only 2 or 3 laps where he didn't use a 20.5, so he's been very, very quick here.
As he sets his fastest lap on the last lap, a 20.414. As Blood, let's see what these guys do if anyone moves around crossing the line. Doesn't look like it so far, as the order will hold that way. So it'll be D's Cards and Blood on the front line, with D Highs behind D's Cards, so that might be an interesting turn 1. With BS Prague in 4th, and Oscar in 5th, coming out of the Open Series. E-Man in 6th, and you can see the rest of the lineup there. As we're... Go ahead.
Spider, I agree. D-Skirts is running faster than I can as well. I'm a little scared for this race.
I'm sure you're in a better position than me, though. I need to work on some practice after the races tonight.
I will say, BS Prague, I believe it's his first race with us here tonight, so he's in his PRA debut, showing up, sitting in 4th.
That's good eyes, good point out. Since you are right, this is his first race in PRA, directly into the Bronze Series. And so far he's showing that that's not a bad placement at all. Up in 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. It's some of these guys, we don't know who they are when they come in, and it's tough to place them, but I guess someone who recruited Prague was smart enough to say, hey, this guy's too fast for the Open Series, but maybe not quite there for silver, so let's try him out in bronze first.
That's right. Welcome, Cross.
Cross, good to see you.
My fellow Canadian, or not fellow Canadian, but my fellow North American, we've got Africa in the chat. Welcome.
The content of Africa, I love it. So we got Spider Monkey saying BS Prague is a gold racer.
I did hear a lot of people talking about that prior. Maybe at the road course he might show us a bit more, and even in this race even. I know some people struggle more at ovals than they do at road courses. Not everyone's an oval guy on this game.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what he can do over on that road course. So, because I've also heard a lot of people saying, "Hey, this guy should not be in bronze. This guy's way too fast." I've personally never raced with him, so I couldn't tell you for sure. But Spider's saying he's faster than Spider almost always. So, yeah, if you're faster than Spider almost always, that should be an indicator.
That's impressive.
It should be an indicator that maybe you shouldn't be in bronze. But here he is. We will see what happens on that road course, and even at the end of this race, he might just still be warming up. Who knows?
As our admin, I believe that would be B-Dog, letting us know that due to the fact that there's no place for a pace car to pull off in this track, we will not have our famous yellow Speedy out for Hilltop.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision. I mean,
we did run the Speedy in Open Series, and we kind of realized there really isn't a place to pull the car off the track.
Yeah, that track is a solid oval all the way around on the inside and the outside, so I think it's just safer to not put that car on the track.
Yeah, I'm sure all these guys in bronze, they know what they're doing. They know how to figure out getting themselves lined up. It's going to be a shame to not see the yellow Speedy here. It will be back for the second race, I'm sure, but tonight, for the first race, they're going to have to figure it out with no bright yellow sign to see.
Yeah, and looking at this lobby, almost all of these guys raced either in my debut season. I know Blood showed up in my debut. Same with McNasty, which would have been 2 seasons ago. So they've either started there or last season. There's only a couple of guys here that I see that started this season, so they'll be able to figure that out no problem.
That's right. We're waiting for everyone, guys fixing their tunes, making sure their cars are comfortable and ready for this oval.
Yeah, and this oval is going to be a lot of sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. There's not going to be a whole lot of excitement. I could be totally wrong. They could surprise me and we could be door to door for 30 laps, but it seems like once people get in the groove, they just kind of single file for the entire race.
Yeah, you never know. Hilltop is one of those tracks that you won't always get overtaking, but you can always, if someone messes up, then even a small little slip up, it's easy in these big oval, or at least on Hilltop in the turns, to run up towards the wall and you'll get stuck up there. So someone else who has a lower line is going to be able to slide under you, and also these walls here are really grabby. Personally, I think, and you could agree or disagree if you think, but I think the middle lane here is probably your best line.
Yeah, for sure. As you said, those walls are super, super grabby. They can grab you and spin you any way they feel.
We're about to get started here as everyone's about to line up behind the non-existent Speedy. As we have, it's like, these Kurds taking the right side.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. I know this is somewhat like a Mudford track where you do get some extra speed on that outside line, so I'm really not surprised to see these Kurds hop on that outside.
I think definitely wouldn't be a surprise to see Blood take advantage of this, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Blood's not going to give it to him easy. I know Blood's been working on getting a little more aggressive.
Interesting, you have D-Highs behind these Kurds as well, so possibly we might just have odds right, evens left. As we're about to go green here for the first race back from the break. As Blood on the inside, trying to take that spot from D's Kurds. D-Highs runs up a little wide, but D's Kurds gets a great run, having that better line as he's going to comfortably get in front of Blood and Tears. Got some bunching in the back as well. Prog's trying to make his move in on Blood. And D-Highs is watching them, just hoping they take each other out, really.
Yeah, and I will say just in behind them is a good battle of 4 different cars here in E-Man, Bumskag, Oscar, and McNasty. Leitzman's also not far behind, so this group, Dorchek's also back there, so this group is going to be a tight battle for these first few laps.
Yeah, definitely depending on, as we talked about before this, it might end up being a single file race, so these first few laps, wherever positions you can get, are going to be important.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, D-Skirt's in the front there. He's been running away because he hasn't had to pass anybody from the start, so starting on pole here is very, very important.
And said before the race, all eyes on the battle between D's Kurds and D-Highs, as between them they're currently tied for the points lead, so every point they can get matters.
Yeah, absolutely, and I will say BS Prague has bumped himself up 2 spots here and is looking to chase down D's Kurds, so he's racing clean, racing strong, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if he can run down D's Kurds.
We have someone run up into the wall, as we talked about, as I had mentioned earlier. This track, if you get highline's hard to run since these curves will grab you and throw you into the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. These are not friendly walls, to say the least. I know some tracks you can ride the wall and it'll just slow you down a little bit, but these walls can just straight up spin you around.
Well, now we're starting to single file out a little bit as we've had a few laps for the field to spread out, but we have still some battles going on. These Kurds, loving the space he's got right now, currently holding the fastest lap at a 20.4 compared to the next fastest at a 20.5 from Prague.
Yeah, so it's about a 0.15 second gap between the two of them for fastest lap times right now.
And interesting, as Canuck gets into the back of Brad, but saves it. Towards the back.
Brad runs up onto that wall a little bit here. I know once you hit that high line, it can be tough to keep your car off of it.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a lot of
As
speed.
we have Prague actually making a move, trying to make the move on the inside of Blood. Well, Blood's going on the outside of Prague, I guess. Let's see if Prague can hold on to that. Blood runs high.
And just like
holds
that,
on.
loses that position.
Prague is the one that holds on 2 seconds. Yeah. As a little bit of contact for third and fourth, as D-Highs makes his way up, taking advantage of Blood and Tears losing the groove a bit with that fight with Prague. But D-Highs has the groove, so he is able to make the move. So we've got some two... Sorry to cut you off, but we got some two wides in the back with Bumskag, E-Man, and Oscar. Oscar trying to make the move on Bumskag.
And this is great. I know Oscar and Bumskag are really good buddies, so it's good to see them racing together in PRA once again.
Indeed, as we've got pretty much everyone here in this little pack here for fifth. E-Man hoping Bumskag and Oscar fighting, and all these other guys, as Leitzman tags McNasty a bit, but they hang on. E-Man's hoping, as someone lost it up there, I think it's D-Highs. D-Highs must have slipped up and let Blood through.
Yeah, McNasty slipped up a little bit back here. He ran into the wall just a little bit, nothing too crazy. So Oscar was able to hold that position strong.
Person loving to see this, though, is D's cards. He's now got a very fair lead.
Yeah, he's almost got that full corner gap on these guys now. So
as Brad hits the wall, and he saves it, too. I'll say some great saves from this race so far.
Yeah, but Old Stock is going to be trying to make his move back here on Brad, as Brad had to slow down from hitting that wall there.
But Old Stock saving it from running up into the wall himself. Let's take a look through the field and see who everyone else is doing. Leitzman running wide. Dorchek takes advantage for 9th place. It's a little bit of movement everywhere.
I hear Brad hitting that wall behind me. Here comes Old Stock.
See if Old Stock can make the move.
Looking around, it seems like everyone's starting to single file out again. As I said, usually the first 10-15 laps is going to be some tight battles, but as we get later into this race, it'll just spread out and be single file.
That's right. Old Stock not able to get the move on Brad this time by. Let's check out these cards up front. Not much action around them at all, but to note, I'm pretty sure he has a fastest lap in the race than he had qualifying at a 20.418.
I believe qualifying he had a 4:14, so he's very, very close to that time.
You may be right.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was a 4:14.
Either way, he's moving.
He's flying compared to the rest of these guys here. He's got almost a 0.2 second gap on the rest of the field.
You start seeing the guys in the midfield pack trying different lines since they want to get some sort of advantage over the guys in front of them. We did mention the middle line is the fastest, but if you're running the same line as the guys in front of you, you're never going to catch them.
E-Man runs the wall, and Bumskag's able to take advantage of that. Hops up into 5th place.
As E-Man and Oscar get together, but...
And this is opening the door for McNasty.
Let's take a closer look at this fight. Watching Dorchek catching up on that pack as well.
So this might be the battle we have to sit on here. It's looking like these are going to be the closest guys to fight.
Yeah, we've got E-Man, McNasty, and Oscar fighting over 6th place. Dorchek not too far behind either.
I almost wonder if we're going to start seeing the back of some of these cars in D-Skirt's windshield here.
That might be a possibility. Let's see where he's at. We have Old Stock and Brad fighting in the back, as Brad does a great job not to get taken out by the wall. No, I think they've got a bit of space from these cards. Is Brad making love with the wall at this point? Tough thing not to do at this track, though.
Yeah, I've kind of refused to practice this track thus far because I keep hitting the wall and it's making me frustrated, so I'm going to have to put some time in tomorrow. Speaking
of hugging the wall, Leitzman was the one who run up, and Brad and Old Stock is now at the back of the pack.
Wow, yeah, so that wall, if you touch it, it'll pull you around. I can't say it enough. Stay off of that wall.
As now Prague meets the wall. That's the one tough thing about this track is it's not a complete flat out. You can make it one, but if you do, be ready to go sliding up into that wall if you don't take it right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at the track here. We're at the chat here, not the track. I want to say thank you, Spider. Wishing me a happy birthday. I appreciate it, buddy. This is Cross's favorite track. I don't know how I feel about that with you there, buddy, but I'm Canadian and don't like ovals, so what can you do?
As we do have a move, E-Man and McNasty, great save from McNasty getting bumped off the wall on the start-finish line, but kept the car straight.
I think Brad had to reset.
He might have. I see. Yeah, he's now fighting with Prague. Yeah. So Brad is lapped. No more cautions, by the way, as D's Curtis has hit lap 26. Brad's just had an unlucky race, mainly with that wall.
Yeah, it seems like he might not have put enough time into this track, or maybe he just lost his line. But
it's Prague runs up on the wall now, tags it completely. Blood and tears, yeah, open the door for him. But we have lap traffic in the way with Brad, so let's see how he works around it.
If I were in Brad's situation, I would just back off of this top three if I were him. Let them fight it out.
Yeah. Maybe not by choice, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's one way to get out of the way, Brad. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Overall, most of the guys running 20.6s, with 20.5s coming from Blood and Tears, Prague, and Bumskag. And D's-Card still up in the 20.4s. As let's find Bumskag, or not Bumskag, but D's-Cards, as he should be on the final lap.
That he is. He's coming around that last corner as we speak.
Coming around the backstretch as D's-Cards, with a dominating performance, asserts his championship lead and takes the win here at Hilltop Oval. As we see the back of the pack now, Prague does take second, as Blood did come close.
And then you got a whole bunch of people filing in after that.
Yep. As Canuck was fighting Leitzman, but couldn't get him back. So Leitzman works his way up a little bit.
But yeah, congratulations to the top three here in D's-Curds, Prague, and Blood. We will be grabbing Mr. D's-Curds and pulling him into the booth in just a minute for a little interview.
While we do that, we will go ahead and shout out Wired. Happy birthday, bud.
Thank you, sir. It's a big old 21. I can now go to the States and drink.
That is right. Well, luckily you're Canadian, so... Drinking laws the same in Canada, or is it 18?
So we are 18 in Quebec and 19 everywhere else.
Got it. Well, we have D's-Curds in here. Welcome, race winner.
D's-Curds. What a dominating performance tonight, brother. Hey, man, a win's a win, and leading from start to finish, I mean, your lap time was over a tenth faster than everyone else, so clearly you had something figured out there.
One second, D's-Cards. Would you mind switching your audio, as the chat cannot hear you currently? Nope. I'll check to make sure it's not me as well. Let me see. I'm not on 5 either right now. I'm on my 4. So if you go to party settings, there should be a option that says like audio sharing or something like that. Make sure you go directly to the party. Yep, there you go.
How about now?
Copy, 1, 2, 3. Chat, can you hear the race winner?
Hello.
We will keep talking and figure it out.
Right.
But yeah,
Good
congratulations. That was
really
Yeah,
quick.
thank you.
Really quick. Good to have you, Cross. See you next time around. As we wait to see if everyone can hear him now. All right,
can
we're
anybody
good.
hear me now?
we have the go ahead. We can hear you.
All right.
So that track, you clearly had something figured out, as I said before. What were your thoughts going into that race?
Oh man, I've been racing with these other guys all day long, and I've been stuck in the 20.4s all day. Everybody else is pretty quick themselves. I'm at 20.5s, 20.6, but I knew if I kept it at the 20.4, I would slowly pull away from them.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you did.
I rubbed the wall a couple times, but
I think everyone
nothing
does.
serious.
Hey, any questions for our race one winner?
I don't think so. I mean, other than how'd you feel being comfortable with that open of a track for most of the race?
Oh man, like no stress at all. None
I
at all.
do-
It was awesome.
I do want to ask, what are your thoughts going into this Vale Falls? It's a completely different track compared to what you just ran.
Ooh, definitely. See, like I've been practicing that track for the past couple weeks as well. By yourself, it's a whole different story than it is with 10 other cars in there. So it's going to be hard to get the qualifying time I want. It's also going to be hard to pass people on that track. So just kind of hope for a screw up, I guess, so I can get around them. Other than that,
Absolutely. Anyways, it was great to have you up in the booth for a little interview. Good luck on race number 2, and congrats on race number 1.
Great
Thank
luck,
you.
man.
So that was race number 1 winner, D's Kurds, pulling out the victory.
And
Hope to see him back in the booth once again.
yeah, in dominating fashion too, asserting a championship lead, as I mentioned. He should now be holding it on his own.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's going to have a solid little gap on D Highs now. At least 3 points. That could be more. I'm not too sure. But a guy that we need to look out for in this race is going to be Leitzman. This guy has been practicing and practicing and practicing so much for this race. He's hitting times close to what us gold guys are running.
Which that's the double-edged sword in a good way for a lot of these guys with the break week, is some people needed the break from racing in general. Just tensions flaring, need some time to breathe, whereas some other guys took it as opportunity as an extra week to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Sacro just said, I think they changed the name of Vale Falls to Leedsman Falls. I know he camped out there all week. That he has. I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone run as many laps on a track than Leedsman at Vale Falls this week.
I mean, it's one thing to be on your own running it, though. As D's Kurds mentioned, with 10 other cars, it's hard to pass. Anyone can make a mistake at any point, no matter how many laps you've run. So I think it's going to be a really interesting race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a very tight track. Lots of 90-degree sharp corners, as we will see during this 5-lap qualifier. So I am going to ride on board with the Leedsman to see what he can do.
I'm actually going to ride on board with Prague here. See, a lot of guys have talked good about him. He showed out the first race. Let's see, especially want to see how he can do on a road course. If Spider has so much good things to say about him.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be definitely interesting to see how he does here.
This Bumblebee car is going to be flying around. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I will say Leedsman made the smart decision. He waited until he could see the other cars coming down the backstretch before he left, so he's going to have lots of room.
That's a good decision, as Prague is able to get his own clean air by getting up to the front.
Yeah, I think those are the two best places to be on a track like this during qualifying, either at the front of the pack or at the very back with a good gap in front of you.
Also a good gap behind you. You don't want to get lapped either in qualifying because you'd have to deal with AI cars on the last lap. I will mention really quick again our open runner-up guys on this track. Oscar got a very, very solid second place here, getting the fight to Slick until the very end. As I mentioned, Slick is the one who won this track in the Open Series but could not make it. Oscar is taking his place. And then Old Stock finished 5th here in the Open. Very respectable performance, and he's the one making the slot up for tonight's races.
Yeah, and I believe Oscar ran somewhere close to a 33.7, if I'm not wrong. So he's running pretty solid times here as well. And as you said, gave Slick a run for his money from start to finish.
Currently Prague with just one clean lap, already up in second on qualifying with these Kurds hoping to make the repeat, sweep the bronze. He's up in first right now.
And as we said, this seemed to be the season of sweeps, so it's almost hard to not put my money on that guy to sweep the bronze series.
Yeah, let's see if we can find him. Get our eyes. Look at Prague crosses the line, does not better his time this time around. Possibly taking a setup lap.
But Blood has improved his lap time. He's bumped himself up into that third place position.
That's right. 33.2 is a very fast time here. Prague following him too. Leitzman not up there yet, but let's see how guys move. There you go. That's on
there
cue. A 33.0 from Leitzman taking the pole.
Yeah, and that's a very strong lap. I know he's going to want to get into the 32s.
He's going to get one more. Let's see if he can do it. As currently the rest of the top 4 on the pole have not beaten him, so it looks like Leitzman will be taking the pole. But let's see if he can better his time this time around as well. D-Highs comes in 5th. Let's see if he can get it here.
And
he does! 32.9. 0.3 ahead of D's Kurds. So, yeah, definitely the practice paying off for Leitzman.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this guy's PB is somewhere around the 32.65 range. So he's been putting that work in, to say the least.
So we will have Leitzman on the front row with these Kurds, Prague in ever advantageous 3rd place, Blood in 4th, D-Highs and McNasty finishing out the 3rd row. As we do have our open drivers who came up on the back row, but definitely I wouldn't count them out just yet.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, this track is really difficult to even set a good qualifying time on.
Right. It's a tight track that's very crowded, and the racing is going to be even more crowded. This is one of those that, unless you have open air, it honestly doesn't matter how fast you run. It matters how fast you could run around other guys.
Yeah, exactly. And as we saw in open earlier, running through these corners too wide is definitely quite the challenge.
Yeah, so I will mention that there is a good possibility that the start of the race will be a little past the start-finish line, as that area is so crowded. But that turn 1, that small little right-hand kink into the hard left-hand 90-degree, with that jump there, guys going too wide, we might see a bit of chaos on starts and restarts.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we had to throw a restart in that open series. It's a tough spot to get through, and I wouldn't be surprised to see any one of the series have to do a full restart there.
Yeah, it's a really tough. I mean, most of this track, I'd say it's a tough section, but this whole track is really tough to get around clean. There's definitely spots where too wide is sketchy. Even running on your own is quite sketchy. Open did make a few areas with 3 wide work, though, so hats off to the Open Series. Let's see if Bronze can repeat that.
Yeah, it was a very impressive race out of that Open Series, and it's something that you don't think you'd see very often. I mean, the Open Series, they're supposed to be the newer guys, but I say that, and then they come and impress me week in and week out, so I really just got to stop and believe in them a little more.
Never doubt the Open guys.
I never doubt them anymore.
they always back up. A lot of the guys, Oscar, and a lot of the guys in their backup open series is the series. And they, week in, week out, they prove that they're not just some open series beginners like you're trying to down them as Wired.
Hey, now.
We love
It's
our
only
open.
Oscar. No, I'm very, very impressed with how they've been racing. I mean, I know when I was back in my bronze days, it was some rough racing. It definitely wasn't anything too clean to say the least, but they've been really, really impressive, and hats off to them for proving that they're just as good as the rest of us.
As we got some of the guys in the chat back in their drivers, got Jackal wanting Blood to win, Ty going for Oscar, who doesn't want Oscar to win, and Saturn here back in Bum. So, Wired, I think you already mentioned it earlier, but who else would you want to see have a good performance here other than Leitzman?
Like I said last race, I'd love to see Blood pull out a victory here at some point this season. He's a very good, I wouldn't say friend of mine. We're good acquaintances. I love racing with him. He's a blast to race with.
Of course. And as we have B-Dog, our lovely B-Dog, head of everything, here with the iconic yellow Speedy. It's finally here. Welcome back to the Speedy after a week away and a race. So we've got Leitzman starting on the left side, which is interesting considering it's a right-hand first turn. These cards taking what will be the inside.
I think it might be a little more advantageous for Leitzman here going into that second turn. That second turn's a very hard left-hander, so I respect the decision to go on that inside.
And again, you run the risk of getting bumped out after this jump, so let's see how they take it. We'll ride aboard with Leitzman as...
It's looking like we're having a little bit of troubles
in the
getting
back.
these lineups.
Well, alrighty. Looks like we're going to have another time around, which is fine. Get these guys situated and ready, getting the nerves settled. As Oscar pointed out last week, last race, sweating harder than a teenager at prom was his quote. And
yeah, you can only expect that he's going to be sweating even harder at this one.
That's right. I think a lot of guys will be with how tense this track's going to be, with how little room you've got to make moves. And in any second you go flying off this track if someone makes the wrong move.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, D West, I see you. D-Skirt's lap times at Hilltop were very impressive.
Let's see if he can make the repeat here at Vale Falls, as Blood Tear's getting a little antsy to go. But we will be going green, green, green now, as D-Skirt's looking to get the move on Leitzman. But as you said, the good move. But Prague makes the undercut on both of them, coming into the big rock turn with Blood in fourth, trying to make his way through with everyone else in the back kind of scattering around.
And Leitzman just gets bullied out of that pole position.
Yeah, it's a tricky one to decide where you're going to start, since it depends on how everyone else takes it, really. Leitzman gets a beautiful undercut on Blood, back into the podium spaces. As up front, we've got a close battle with D-Skirts and Prague, as Prague's got the inside for this left-hander. Let's see if he can keep it. And he will. Coming to big rock turn. Let's see if D-Skirts retaliates. He does not yet. We've got a 3 wide with D-High's Blood and McNasty. Blood and Tears gets a little loose, but we're looking all good.
Yeah, absolutely. So after lap number 3 there, Leitzman's dropped down to that 3rd place. D-Skirts is sitting in 2nd, and Prague.
Sorry to cut you off, but 3 wide across the line with Bumscad, Blood, and McNasty's. Oscar's watching this. Oscar and Dorchek watching this, getting ready. And Brad, everyone's here really still tightening it up through this tight section around Rock Turn. 5 cars. Blood, let's see if he can keep a hold of it. He can. As Prague does get the lead, Leitzman fighting his way back hard with these curds.
Yeah, I know Leitzman doesn't want to give up this win at all. He's been putting that work in this week, as I've said time and time again, and he wants it, but he makes a small error going into that left-hand turn.
Yeah, and the harder he fights these curves, the more room Prague gets to get away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we say every week. The more you fight with someone, the slower you're going to go. So
It looks like those two have now separated themselves. They're catching him now. So Deeskar is looking to get a run of his own coming out of the final turn into lap 7.
yeah, looking at lap times, Leitzman is the lap time leader right now with a 33.013. So he's 0.3 faster than anyone else on this track right now.
We got a guy running a little high. Door check. Let's see if Oscar and Brad can take advantage. Brad does. Oscar can't make the move done. I know Oscar's a nice guy, so he probably didn't want to rough him up too hard. Leitzman making a big move up front, trying to get a 2-for-1 special. Let's see if he can hold it. Similar place to where he was on lap 1. I think he's learned his lesson. No, he's going to send it in. And he's going to have to fall back to third. Let's see if he can get done. Big rock corner as the 3 wide through the rock hairpin.
Boys, 3 wide through here is not going to work very well.
Prague going side, but he holds it. Deeskar is the one who comes out most favorably, though, as they come into the final hairpin. These 3 are going to be fighting it out all race.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting battle between these 3.
Oh, someone's around. I believe it's Old Stock around on the back stretch, as that will likely be the first tally. Yeah, Old Stock's around, and he's not moving.
We'll ride with these curds, and Prague hits the inside of that rock corner and has to reset.
No!
That might be tally number 2, so we'll see.
Yeah, as D-Highs gets the position there. I believe Old Stock has moved. He's back moving now. So we got Deeskar, Leitzman, and then D-High is taking advantage of Prague's mistake into the rock turn. Bumskag and McNasty now looking to want to take advantage of that.
We are still green, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
So it's I wonder if Old Stock's going to be a little bit of an issue here for D-Skirts, as D-Skirts is already catching up with them. I know lap traffic is hard enough to deal with, but lap traffic on Vale Falls, I can imagine, is just even harder.
Yeah, definitely frustrating for the lead guys, as Old Stock does the very charitable thing and gets out the way for the leaders.
That is the respectable move. We appreciate that for sure, Old Stock. We never like to have our race ruined by someone who's a lap down.
Always love courtesy, as Prague makes the move to the left-hander on D-Highs, trying to get his podium spot back into the rock corner. D-Highs tries the undercut, though, into the S's, going a little sideways. So, before the race, I usually like to do a little race preview, but really this whole track is a danger zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's really a spot on this track that you can consider safe.
Yeah, this track speaks for itself with all the turns and dangerous guys. D-Highs runs a little wide, but might have a better run on Prague into the rock corner. But Prague does not mess it up this time. He's got a good line, hoping to catch back up with Leitzman and Deeskar. Leitzman still comfortably holding the fastest lap, though, as D-Highs does run a little wide, but saves it. Let's take a look.
Takes that corner a little bit wide. Leitzman closes the gap just a little bit more. Both of these guys on that last lap, and we have a caution. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
We do? All right. That changes everything.
What happened, but here we are.
We'll see what could have caused that. We'll see who goes to the back. But we've got the guys lining up single file in this caution. So a lot of guys here. I mean, the top 3 is looking very similar to what it was at the start. Only this time, Leitzman and Deeskar the other way around.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at Leitzman to make a move going into this restart.
I'm looking for Prague to make a move. He made the big move from third on the first start, so I definitely don't think he's scared to do it again now that he's getting a second life here. He was looking to catch them up, but now the back of the pack caught them up for him. As it looks like McNasty may be the one headed to the back.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I think Old Stock has just pulled off the track and decided to not continue the race, which, you know, it's a hard track.
Old Stock's still here for now.
Is he?
Yeah,
he did
he
hop
is.
back on the track, so he'll be a couple laps down. But...
Yeah, he still wants to run. And
you know what? I respect that.
Who knows what can happen? He might get a lap back on a caution or something like that, and he might be back in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially on a track this tight and chaotic with how cautions could come out left, right, and center. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, so going into this restart, I don't think Leedsman or Deeskerds are going to give up that position to Prague quite as easily this time.
Yeah,
I will know what he's going to do.
I will point out that Leedsman had the rough start, but this time he is on the right side, as Deeskerds is taking the left side. Prague behind, as they are going green. Deeskerds tries to push Leedsman in a little bit, as Prague's looking very advantageous again this time, as he might just get it this time. No, Deeskerds hang on, but they get tapped up a little bit. Prague makes the moves in, but he gets crossed up a little bit as Leedsman's the one who gets through Rock Corner.
And D-Highs follows Leedsman
Blood
right through.
and Tears drifting in front of everyone. Great save. As Prague falls back to 4th, Deeskerds falls back to 3rd. D-Highs is the one that
3 wide.
Yeah, D-Highs is the one that makes the move up.
But Deeskerds and D-Highs and Prague making it 3 wide, going through corner number 2.
Real rough through here. But D-Highs makes the double undercut there. But Prague might be looking to send it in at the Rock Corner. Gets Deeskerds. Will he get D-Highs too? Through the S's, looks like he'll get him, but Deeskerds looks under, but he hits the wall, going a little too ambitious with the undercut. There's so much to watch here.
These guys are going to be
Deeskerds is around.
Oh, that's crushing.
I know, as that definitely hurts, pushing so hard with that top fight. Sometimes you push a little too hard and get turned around, especially at that hairpin, as D-High is now happy to see that, since he might have the opportunity to make up some points from last race. He's looking to get the move on Prague, but Prague's going to hold on as Leedsman is looking to check out here with this fight for second.
I will say, Deeskerds recovered really well. He only dropped down to 6, so he's definitely not out of this race by
as D-High does the same thing on the hairpin the next lap, but he holds on, thanks to a little help from Bumskag.
Yeah, so Leedsman now is just absolutely running away from this field, and this is what he wants. He just wants to sprint away from everybody.
Bumskag getting spin, but they save it. Great job, Blood and Tears, but holding on. But now we've got a little bit of a pile-up car park through the Rock hairpin, as we've got multiple 2-3 wides through the S's. That's always dangerous, but they all make it work. Deeskerds and Bumskag side by side in the fight for 4th. Into the final hairpin. Does Deeskerds get the move done? Looks like he will, as we got 3 wide behind him. Leedsman looking very comfortable up front, with Prague and D-Highs getting a little bit of space in their own, but it's this pack right behind them that are really fighting. Brad, Oscar, and Blood and Tears fighting for 7th. Then you have McNasty, Bumskag, and Deeskerds fighting for 4th. Let's see who makes the move into the hairpin. No one getting too ambitious. Blood and Tears hops it a bit. 3 wide across the line with Brad, McNasty, and Bumskag. But they still make it work. Bumskag looking for the undercut. But they're all still alive. Oh! As I called that a little bit too soon. E-Man is around in the 90-degree left. And Bumskag hot the curb, so that might be Tally 2. Let's see if it is.
It very well could be. I don't know if it will.
Where is... they might be going another... We are still going green.
Yeah, we are still green here at the front. Man, it's a lot more quiet when you get to those front few guys.
Well, everyone, after the chaos, everyone's kind of spread a bit around now after people popcorning around each other. Need a little more space. Bumskag messes up at the Rock turn, and Oscar takes advantage. Oscar up in 8th. Impressive. Oh, and someone else is around. That is McNasty is around, and surely that should be a caution, making the same mistake Old Stock did on the first caution. So looks like Leitzman should be racing around to lap 23, and we'll get a late caution here.
Yeah, this is going to be Leitzman's worst nightmare.
McNasty's moving to the back, so it looks like he will be the second tally.
Yeah, late cautions are always the most terrifying things in the game.
Everyone, especially on a tight track like this, is yes, Leitzman is slowing up. This will be a caution. So this is what Prague, D-Highs, and D's Kurds wants to see. Right back on Leitzman's bumper and all the others' bumper, for that matter of fact. That's right, D-West. This place is real stressful, especially with this late caution. Late caution in general, everyone's going to get a little bit more aggressive, knowing this might be the last chance they get at making the moves they want to make. Track this tight might just accidentally take each other out trying to make the moves they know they have to make. Wired, who do you think you're looking at here to get the best restart on this hopefully final caution?
I'm going to be looking for D-Skirts to make a push. He's been fighting with these front guys this whole race, and now he's got a chance to catch up with them again. Expect him to make a move here.
Because we're coming too wide out of the hairpin. We might go around one more time. And we still do. Yeah. So, coming down to the last 6 laps, calming down a little bit. This race is wild, though. I say calm right now. This is going to be the most calm part of the rest of this race right here.
Absolutely.
That precious number 3 spot has given Prague a lot of room on these 2 restarts. So D-High is in the driver's seat this time. I think he is the one who's in the best position to make the biggest moves here.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get pushed out into this first corner here, he's in a really, really good spot.
Leitzman might be getting deja vu being on the left side on the front row on this restart. He might be the one who gets pushed out, since D's Kurds is going to be looking to get real aggressive as we are back green on this restart. Leitzman wanting to check out, but D's Kurds is right over Prague's bumper. D-High is getting caught up a little bit. All the guys get caught up. There's big flips behind. That's got to be a full restart. Someone just flipped and died there. That was door check. No restart, though, it looks like, even though like 4 or 5 cars got caught up in that. Bumskag makes his way through D-Highs and blood and tears. The fight up front getting real hectic. Brad making his way back up. Not going to speak too soon, though. Don't want to jinx him. Leitzman does hold the lead for now. Prague in second. D's Kurds does get third. D-High is unfortunately did get pushed out, as you called, down to 6. As Prague makes the move through the rock corner and gets it done. D's Kurds with the window open, looking to get it done too. Leitzman's going to fall down to third here, but does get the undercut on D's Kurds. What a fight here coming to the final hairpin, as Leitzman's going to look to fight back at Prague. 3 wide coming through this final hairpin. And we've got Chaos behind too. This is going to be a tough fight. As Prague is almost around, but saves it. Getting a little tap from Leitzman.
Man, this has been a chaotic last few laps.
You can say that for sure. As Blood, D-Highs, and Bumskag get caught up at the rock turn, as Leitzman and D's Kurds are now fighting each other for the lead. Prague still close behind. As this final turn, you can really make a lunge in this hairpin, as Prague does that and gets the 2-for-1 special for now. But let's see if we can hold on going to the 90 left. D's Kurds gets the run though. 3 wide to the 90 left as Prague hits the wall. Leitzman goes back rock corner. D's Kurds looking for the move. We're going to go 3 wide into the S's. What a race.
Man.
As D's Kurds, the beautiful undercut. The double. But then both these guys are going to lunge to the inside. Prague lunges to the inside. Leitzman runs into the inside. Leitzman. This is going to come down to the last 2 laps, guys. As Leitzman takes the lead for now. But who's going to be the one to make the move? D's Kurds looking for Prague.
And these guys have been 3 wide going through these 2 sections the last 4
And
laps in a row.
I'm sorry, the back of the pack's probably just as chaotic, but this is the fight to watch as D's Kurds does hit the wall. No more cautions, by the way. So Kurds might have taken himself out of this, but Prague is still right here in it for the fight with Leitzman. Onto the final lap for the race. He's got a big fight behind as well for, looks like 5th. Let's see if Prague can get it done.
Leitzman takes a really good defensive line there, holding off Prague.
Yeah, but Prague gets the line this time as Prague takes the lead on the last lap. D's Kurds is back in it. But let's see if Leitzman can make that lunge into the final hairpin. That's really the place you want to be. Let's see how they take this as Prague takes a really good line. And Prague, oh, it's going to be a drag to the finish. Prague holds on for the race win. Leitzman just on his quarter panel. These Kurds in 3rd. Bumskag make his way up to 4th. D-Highs in 5th. Blood in 6th. As the rest of these guys fill into the end of the race. What a race.
That was a insane race at the end there. Congratulations to the top 3. What an insane finish.
All of those guys, man. What a finish. Let's get an interview with our race winner, Prague, as well as potentially one with Leitzman. I'd like to hear both of their thoughts if they want to. Definitely Prague's probably got some things to say after clutching up that race. That was so entertaining.
Man, that was an absolute pleasure to watch. That race was absolutely insane.
Vale Falls did not disappoint. As Prague also runs a 33-1, so he wasn't that far off the fastest pace. These Kurds are up there too. A 1,000th difference in the lap times of Prague and these Kurds.
Yeah, so those guys were absolutely flying.
As looks like Leitzman may be pinging out from the race, but that is the end of the races, but stick around for the interviews. As we're going to hear from our race winner, first-time racer here, Prague, is going to make his way up to the Silver Series, along with our race 1 winner, which this race has been so much I can't even remember who won. Who won, Wired? It was Bumskag, or no, it was D's Cards. So D's
won race number 1.
Well, welcome, Prague.
Hello.
Hello, hello. We're just going to get a little check from the chat to make sure we can hear you. Did everyone hear that hello? Maybe, maybe not. Yep, we are good to go. Man, what a race to the finish there, man. Congratulations on that win.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you guys were racing real hard those last 4 laps. Trading blows, undercuts everywhere. That was really an amazing watch.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get into him on that restart. When you're going 4 wide in a 2 wide, not even 2 wide area, it just happens.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean,
I got
you
hurt
guys
and I just leaned into him, so.
Yeah, you guys were all trading blows there.
Yeah, there's not much room for air there. That one.
Welcome to the league, and what a first impression it was on such a tough race, probably one of the most intense races of the season in any series. Coming out with the win.
Yep.
And I'm gonna bring in D's Kurds. It looks like Leitzman may have left, but I want to chat with him a little bit here too.
Well, while we wait for him, Prague, how are you feeling coming into first week in PRA with that oval and the race just now at Vale Falls? What were you thinking coming to this week?
Well, I knew the oval. I knew I probably wasn't going to win because, I mean, it's just a one-line track, really, if you really want to win it. It's one-line track, so I wasn't really worried about winning that. I was like, man, I'll just take second, go on next race, win that. That was basically my thought.
Yeah, and it's a good way to race. I mean, me personally, I'm not the huge fan of ovals. I much prefer road courses. But I like that thought process of, hey, I might not win this one. That's fine. Let's go in and win that second one.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly what you did. Congrats to that. Like, how are you feeling like in the middle of the race? Everything kind of you in the top five, kind of all slotting around in different places with those cautions cutting out. I'm sure those cautions were a little bit stressful, but also a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, that for like 10 laps there during the middle of the race, Letzman was just gone. I mean, and then that caution came around, and I was like, oh man, here's my chance. Better do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was the best thing I think to happen for you and the worst thing to happen for him.
Yeah. I mean, he probably would have been gone the whole race. He was consistent enough to where he would have been gone if there was no caution. So, you know, just racing.
Absolutely. Welcome in, D's Kurds. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, doing good.
Man, what a race between the two of you. Really, the three of you, but
The three of us, yeah. Then the last few laps were definitely a struggle.
yeah, that was a great race between all three of you. I mean, you guys were trading blows, as I said to Prague here. You guys were trading blows, undercutting each other on every corner.
Trying to get ahead of somebody. It's all part of the racing game. But
Yeah,
good win, Sprite.
Thanks.
anyways, I just wanted to come and get your opinions on how that race went. D's Kurds, how do you think it went compared to what you wanted to happen?
Oh man, I already knew this is what was going to happen. I mean, it's a small track, very narrow. Everybody trying to squeeze in 3 wide on the first corner, it's not going to work. And there's going to be a lot of bumping and grinding on this track for sure.
Absolutely. But congratulations to D's Kurds on race number 1 and Prague on race number 2. We'll be seeing you guys in the Silver Series tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I hope to see both of y'all put up a good fight with the Silver guys.
Yeah, me
Y'all,
too.
you both excited for that tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Hilltop, yeah.
Just make sure you come give AY a run for his money for me, will you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll give last place a run for his money.
Yeah, with that Hilltop race, I was like, man, this guy's been doing this for too long. He's not been doing this for like a whole 2 weeks.
Well, in real life, I actually race a track that's almost similar to that with hobby stocks, so I know where the apex is that carries you out and keeps you on a fine line.
Yeah, the other thing was for me was I didn't start using this gremlin honestly until like maybe like a couple days ago because I just joined. So I just took what I knew and just ran with it. These guys been over here, practicing for 2 weeks on the tracks, and I was like, man, I can't expect much.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, for coming in, only using the car the past few days, what an impressive win here on probably the hardest track on our schedule this season.
Especially with Leetzman, as people have been saying, Leetzman falls. He's been calling it home, and he definitely does take a strong second place. But you both were able to give him a hard fight for that race, first and third, both of you.
I tried my best. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I wish that people were a little bit more courteous, though.
Yeah, it's a tough, as I told the Open guys, it's a tough first week to come into because it's kind of a bore fest of a first race. Not that it's a bad track, but it's just one of those where it's kind of like you're sitting behind the guy wanting to get behind them, and then Vale Falls comes, and it's like it's so tight packed, everyone's going to make a move when they can.
Yeah. I mean, like at the start of the race, probably the first half race, I was being really courteous, and I was like, man, it ain't gonna get me nowhere doing this. So I was like, well, might as well join them. So,
Make the moves you can make.
Yeah.
The way I seen this track when I first seen it on the schedule is it's going to be a bump and run track. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it really
You
was.
just bump and run.
really quick, Prague, I do have a question for you. I saw at one point during the race in the big rock turn, you had a little slip up and you had to reset. What happened there?
Oh yeah, we were all racing, and just both of them were just going really slow into the corner. I just hit in the back of them, and then I got caught up right there, and I reset and went. I don't know if you can reset, to be honest with you. I just did,
I
because
got you. Well,
if I went out, then that guy would have killed me. Whoever it
yeah,
was, I think it was Diesel.
yeah, we run 2 second delay on the resets, so it was definitely a good reset, and good thing you did as well. It did not bring out a caution or anything. You were able to fight back through the pack throughout the race and recover to get the win.
Yeah, see that moment right there is when I was like, man, I gotta, I just gotta fight for my own here. Gotta rub when I can. Right there, I was like, yep, there ain't no messing around now.
You did a great job of it, and all three of you put on a great show to the end. Well, congrats to both of you guys for the top three finish here. Well, top three finish at both tracks. Congrats to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll be back live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Silver Series, and shortly after that will be 8:30 p.m. for the Gold Series. So make sure to keep an eye out for that one.
Yep. And happy birthday to Wired. And what a great race tonight. Hope to see everyone tomorrow night.